Have you ever walked into a room and felt an invisible wall rise between you and everyone else? As if respect was slipping through your fingers without a single word being spoken. You sense it immediately, the subtle shift in glances, the slight hesitation in conversation, the quiet distance that wasn't there before. It's a painful truth, but sometimes we are our own worst enemies. Every small, unnoticed habit you carry, habits so ingrained you barely recognize them, silently erodes the way people perceive you. A careless remark, a fleeting gesture, a routine oversight. Each one chips away at the respect you may never even realize you're losing. The Stoics understood this better than anyone. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest philosophers and emperors, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." It's a principle that cuts straight to the heart of human behavior. It's not enough to know what is right. You must live it. Every habit you embrace, every action you take, defines how the world sees you. But here's the paradox. The very habits that destroy respect often appear harmless. Gossip seems innocent. Passive aggression just a quirk. Lateness, a minor inconvenience. Yet beneath the surface, they send powerful, unspoken messages. They signal weakness, insecurity, indiscipline, or disregard. And slowly, subtly, they distance others from you. Not because they dislike you, but because they don't trust you. By the end of this video, you'll uncover 6 of the most destructive habits that can instantly make people lose respect for you. And more importantly, you'll learn how to replace them with strong, stoic principles that command admiration naturally. This isn't about superficial charm, quick fixes, or manipulative tricks. This is about integrity, self-discipline, and mastery of your own character. Imagine this scenario. You enter a meeting, a social gathering, or even a casual conversation, and the energy around you shifts. People listen differently, engage differently, even respond differently, all because of the habits you carry. Habits you may have dismissed as normal or minor could be silently defining your reputation. The first step to change is awareness. Recognizing that these habits exist is already a form of mastery. Awareness empowers you to take control, to adjust, and to build a reputation grounded in authenticity and respect. As the Stoics taught, you cannot control the world, but you can control how you respond to it. And your character, refined through discipline and conscious choice, becomes the most powerful influence on how others perceive you. Before we dive into the habits themselves, consider this. Respect is never given freely. It's earned, habit by habit, action by action, day by day. The smallest choices, how you speak, how you react, how you manage your time, how you treat others, accumulate into the reputation that precedes you. One careless act may be forgotten, but repeated patterns define who you are in the eyes of the world. And this is where most people fail. They underestimate the silent power of their daily behaviors. They think respect is about status, authority, or loud confidence, when in reality, respect thrives in subtlety, consistency, and integrity. A person who embodies calm strength, who navigates life with clarity and honesty, commands more admiration than someone who shouts for it. In this video, we'll explore 6 habits that destroy that respect, habits that may even feel natural to you right now. We'll examine each habit closely, uncover the subtle ways it undermines your credibility, and then, through the lens of Stoic philosophy, we'll reveal the mindset and practical steps to overcome it. This isn't theory, it's actionable guidance, rooted in centuries of wisdom, tested by human behavior, and designed to transform the way you are seen. Are you ready to take control of the way the world perceives you, starting from within? Are you ready to look honestly at yourself and identify the subtle habits that may be holding you back from the respect you deserve? Because by confronting these truths and applying the lessons you'll learn today, you can begin reshaping your character, and with it, the way people respond to you. Let's begin with the first silent killer of respect, a habit so common, so deceptively harmless, that nearly everyone falls into its trap. One habit that corrodes trust, sows doubt, and diminishes admiration, often without anyone realizing it. Habit 1. Gossip. A word that seems harmless, even trivial. At first glance it appears to be just casual talk, a way to bond or connect with others, but the Stoics would warn you otherwise. Gossip is a silent assassin of respect. Every time you speak ill of someone behind their back, you're sending a signal not about them, but about yourself. Picture this. You're at a gathering, and someone mentions a colleague's mistake from last week. You nod along, adding your own commentary, thinking it's harmless banter, but deep down, Everyone listening asks themselves, if they speak this way about others, what do they say about me when I'm not around? Trust, once effortless, begins to fracture. Relationships become shallow, connections grow distant, and your credibility quietly erodes. Gossip masquerades as inclusion, a way to feel part of the group. Yet true connection, as Seneca reminds us, is built on trust and integrity, not on tearing others down. Every conversation that revolves around someone else's flaws is a missed opportunity, a moment when you could have demonstrated wisdom, restraint, and character. Consider the consequences over time. In a world hyperconnected by social media, a careless word can ripple far beyond the room you're in. One comment, one story, one fleeting joke can spread like wildfire, damaging reputations, careers, and personal relationships. The stakes are higher than ever, yet people fall into this trap daily, unaware of the silent cost. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Avoid gossip, not just for the sake of others, but for your own integrity. Redirect conversations, choose restraint, and cultivate a reputation rooted in trust. True respect is not demanded through words. It is earned through actions. The person who refuses to gossip becomes someone others seek for wisdom, reliability, and insight, rather than drama. Habit 2. Passive aggression. If gossip erodes respect outwardly, passive aggression corrodes it silently from within. It's the sarcasm, the cold shoulder, the subtle dig hidden behind a joking comment. Passive aggression creates confusion, frustration, and emotional distance. People can sense when you're upset, yet when you refuse to communicate openly, they are left in the dark, trying to guess your motives. Imagine John, a man who often felt unappreciated by his partner. Instead of expressing his feelings directly, he gave her the cold shoulder, dropped sarcastic comments, and waited for her to read his mind. Over time, the emotional distance grew so wide that deep conversations disappeared altogether. The relationship suffered, not because of lack of care, but because of unspoken resentment. The harsh reality: no one can read your mind. Expecting people to decode your emotions without clarity is unfair, both to them and to yourself. Passive aggression may feel like avoiding conflict, but in truth, it magnifies tension and erodes respect faster than almost any other habit. The Stoics teach us to respond deliberately, not react impulsively. Epictetus wisely said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Communicate openly, calmly, and honestly. When something bothers you, address it directly instead of hiding behind emotional games. In the workplace, in friendships, in romantic relationships, trust is built on clarity. The person who navigates difficulties with honesty commands respect effortlessly. Consider the cost of ignoring this lesson. How many relationships have suffered silently because someone refused to be direct? How many friendships ended, not with drama, but with quiet distance, because trust eroded? Replacing passive aggression with honest communication strengthens relationships, builds credibility, and fosters admiration. People will respect you not for clever manipulation, but for the integrity and emotional maturity you embody. Stoic principles behind social habits. Both gossip and passive aggression share a core principle. They signal weakness, insecurity, or fear. Gossip shows insecurity cloaked in chatter. Passive aggression shows fear of confrontation masked as humor or avoidance. The Stoics remind us that true strength is visible in restraint, clarity, and moral courage. Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus repeatedly emphasize self-mastery, honesty, and consistency. By adopting these principles, you stop being a source of drama, you become someone others can trust and confide in. You demonstrate that your character is stronger than fleeting impulses. Practical steps to overcome these habits. 1. Pause before speaking. Ask yourself, will this add value or harm my reputation? 2. Redirect negative conversations. Shift focus from criticism to constructive dialogue. Point 3. Communicate emotions clearly. Address concerns directly, without sarcasm or resentment. 4. Observe self-awareness daily. Reflect on interactions and note patterns of gossip or hidden hostility. Over time, these small, deliberate actions compound. Respect, once lost, is hard to regain, but respect earned through consistent integrity becomes almost unassailable. Habit 3. Not taking responsibility. Few things destroy respect faster than refusing to take responsibility. It's subtle at first, a missed deadline, a minor mistake, a small oversight, but over time, the habit accumulates, and the message it sends is loud and clear. I am not in control of my life. Others are. Consider this. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes of all time, once reflected on his failures. Over 9,000 missed shots, almost 300 losses, countless moments where the game was in his hands and he failed. Did he blame his teammates, the referees, circumstances? No, he owned every failure and used it as fuel to improve. That is what separates those who earn respect from those who are dismissed or ignored. When you constantly shift the blame, you show weakness, not wisdom. Avoiding responsibility might provide temporary relief from shame or guilt, but it undermines trust and erodes your reliability. People notice, colleagues stop depending on you, friends hesitate to confide, and over time, your reputation becomes a subtle liability rather than an asset. The Stoics teach us, your character is defined not by external events, but by how you respond to them. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Taking responsibility is not self-punishment, it is self-empowerment. It signals discipline, integrity, and inner strength. Practical ways to embody responsibility. 1. Own your actions. Every mistake is a chance to grow, not a reason to hide. 2. Reflect before blaming. Ask, what could I have done differently? 3. Take corrective action. Don't just admit, improve. 4. Be consistent. People respect reliability above all else. When you adopt this habit, you shift how others perceive you instantly. You are no longer someone to question or doubt. You become someone others can rely on, respect, and even admire. Habit for poor hygiene and appearance. Let's turn to a habit that seems obvious, yet is astonishingly overlooked: personal hygiene and appearance. At first glance, it may appear superficial, but the truth is, the way you present yourself speaks volumes often before you even say a word. Picture walking into a meeting with wrinkled clothes, unkempt hair, or a lingering odor. Even before you speak, judgment is already forming in the minds of others. Subconsciously, they interpret this as carelessness, lack of discipline, or even disrespect. First impressions are incredibly powerful, and habits like poor hygiene silently erode respect over time. The Stoics emphasized the link between mind, body, and character. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Neglecting hygiene signals a lack of self, which inevitably translates into how others perceive your reliability, discipline, and competence. But it's more than just social perception. Maintaining hygiene is a daily act of control over yourself and your environment. Showering, grooming, wearing clean clothes, these simple actions anchor your discipline, reminding yourself that you have authority over your habits, your mind, and your choices. Consider the ripple effect. People subconsciously respond to you more positively. Social interactions become easier, deeper, and more authentic. Opportunities, both professional and personal, increase because your presence commands respect. Stoic principle in practice: control what you can, and let go of what you cannot. You cannot control others' judgments completely, but you can control how you present yourself. By mastering small daily habits, you demonstrate mastery over yourself, which in turn earns admiration, trust, and respect. Practical steps to maintain respect through hygiene and appearance. 1. Daily grooming. Shower. Brush your teeth. Comb hair. 2. Dress with intent. Choose clean, neat, and context-appropriate attire. 3. Observe your surroundings. Maintain tidiness in your personal spaces as a reflection of discipline. 4. Consistency over perfection. Small, daily efforts outweigh occasional grand gestures. Neglecting these basics doesn't just reduce respect, it silently undermines your confidence. Conversely, mastering them reinforces self-discipline and signals to the world that you are someone who values both yourself and others. The connection between responsibility and appearance. At first, these habits may seem unrelated, one internal, one external, yet they are deeply connected. Responsibility reflects how you manage your actions and choices. Hygiene and appearance reflect how you manage your self-respect and discipline. Both are pillars of the Stoic mindset: self-mastery, integrity, and deliberate living. When combined, taking responsibility plus maintaining self-discipline in appearance creates an aura of reliability. Others see you as someone who can handle challenges, earn trust, and lead without drama. Respect becomes a natural byproduct. not something you demand or manipulate. The subtle truth is this: small, daily decisions shape your reputation far more than occasional heroic acts. Stop blaming others. Start caring for yourself. Align your inner discipline with your outer presentation. The person who does this consistently is rarely ignored, doubted, or disrespected. Habit 5. Constant complaining. Nothing drains respect faster than someone who constantly complains. At first, venting may seem harmless, a way to release frustration or bond over shared grievances. But when it becomes habitual, the effect is corrosive. It sends a clear, unconscious message: I focus on problems, not solutions. 1. Dwell on negativity instead of taking control. Consider the co-worker who never stops talking about how unfair their boss is, how overwhelming the workload feels, or how life always seems to conspire against them. At first, you might empathize, but over time, their negativity becomes exhausting. People start to avoid them, limit interactions, and gradually stop relying on them. Why? Because constant complaining is contagious, and humans instinctively distance themselves from persistent pessimism. The Stoics teach that our perception of life is under our control. Epictetus said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Complaining signals a lack of emotional mastery. It's an unconscious admission of powerlessness. Contrast this with someone who faces challenges with calm, measured responses, someone who seeks solutions instead of dwelling on problems. That person commands respect effortlessly. People naturally gravitate toward problem solvers, not problems. Practical ways to stop complaining. 1. Shift perspective. Ask, can I change this? If yes, act. If no, accept and move on. 2. Focus on solutions. Every complaint should be paired with a constructive step forward. 3. Limit venting time. 1 or 2 minutes is enough. Habitual ranting is counterproductive. 4. Reflect daily, journal challenges, and note actionable steps. Rather than emotional reactions, by replacing complaints with deliberate, solution-oriented action, you transform not only how others perceive you, but also how you perceive yourself. Self-respect grows, and respect from others follows naturally. Habit 6. Chronic lateness. The sixth habit might seem small, almost trivial, yet it speaks volumes about character. Chronic lateness, being consistently late to work, meetings, social events, silently communicates, "My time is more valuable than yours." Even if unintentional, repeated tardiness erodes trust and diminishes respect. Think of a CEO who is never late. At a high-stakes meeting, latecomers arrive, and the CEO calmly states, "Time is our most valuable resource." If you cannot respect that, you cannot be part of this team. The message is clear: punctuality is non-negotiable. Those who fail to honor it quickly realize the social and professional cost of their behavior. Stoic philosophy emphasizes control over what you can. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be." B1. Punctuality is not just a courtesy. It's a reflection of discipline, self-respect, and integrity. Chronic lateness often masks deeper issues: overcommitting, poor planning, underestimating travel time, or lack of priority management. Ignoring the problem doesn't make it disappear. It only creates stress, anxiety, and a reputation of unreliability. Practical steps to overcome lateness. 1. Plan ahead. Account for traffic, preparation, and unforeseen delays. 2. Prioritize commitments. Know which events are essential and schedule accordingly. 3. Shift mindset. Treat punctuality as a statement about who you are, not just a habit. 4. Track time usage. Identify where you lose minutes daily and adjust accordingly. Being on time is more than just a logistical task. It's a visible expression of respect for yourself and others. When you value your own time and others' time equally, your reliability and integrity become unquestionable. The ripple effect of mindset. Habits. Complaining and lateness are more than minor annoyances. They are habits that shape your social and professional identity. They subtly erode trust, weaken relationships, and undermine the perception of your competence. Imagine combining all 6 habits we've discussed so far: gossiping, passive aggressiveness, avoiding responsibility, neglecting hygiene, constant complaining, and chronic lateness. Left unchecked, they compound, creating a persona that is untrustworthy, undisciplined, and difficult to respect. Conversely, mastering these habits produces a ripple effect: trust, People rely on you because you are consistent and accountable. Respect your presence commands attention, not because of authority, but because of integrity. Influence. Others naturally seek your guidance, insight, and company. The Stoics teach that external respect is earned through internal mastery. Change begins within, controlling your actions, refining your habits, and consciously shaping how the world experiences you. We've explored 6 habits that quietly erode respect: gossiping, passive aggressiveness, avoiding responsibility, neglecting hygiene, constant complaining, and chronic lateness. By now, it's clear that respect is not demanded, it's earned, daily, through deliberate choices and consistent actions. But knowing the habits is only the first step. True transformation requires integration, turning awareness into action, and action into character. The Stoics remind us that character is destiny. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Connecting awareness with action. Awareness without action is futile. You may recognize gossip as destructive, but continuing it out of habit undermines your credibility. You may understand the cost of passive aggression, yet fear confrontation keeps you silent. You may know that punctuality matters, yet repeatedly arrive late, leaving subtle but permanent damage in your wake. Integration is the bridge. Conscious application of knowledge in every interaction, every choice, every habit. Start small. Identify one habit at a time. Replace it with a deliberate, Stoic-inspired action. 1. Gossiping gives focus on integrity. Speak only of what adds value, uplifts, or teaches. 2. Passive aggression gives direct communication. Share feelings honestly, calmly, and respectfully. 3. Avoiding responsibility gives ownership. Own mistakes. Learn from failures and demonstrate reliability. 4. Neglecting hygiene gives self-respect. Maintain appearance, posture, and personal discipline. 5. Constant complaining gives solution-oriented mindset. Transform challenges into actionable steps. 6. Chronic lateness gives punctuality and discipline. Show respect for your time and others' time equally. By consistently practicing these actions, you don't just avoid negative outcomes, you build a reputation of strength, maturity, and trustworthiness. The ripple effect. How habits shape identity. Every choice you make sends signals to the world. The habits you cultivate or neglect shape how others perceive you, and more importantly, how you perceive yourself. Trust is built through accountability. When people see that you take responsibility, honor commitments, and act predictably, they naturally rely on you. Respect is earned through integrity. When you control your words, your reactions, and your presence, others notice the consistency. Influence grows from reliability. When your actions align with your principles, people seek your guidance, emulate your behavior, and value your perspective. Think of respect as a compound interest of behavior. Small, consistent actions accumulate over time into a visible, undeniable reputation. Neglect even one habit, and the effect compounds negatively, subtly eroding trust and credibility. Stoic mindset in daily life. Stoicism teaches that control lies within. We cannot dictate others' thoughts or reactions, but we can control our choices, behaviors, and mindset. By mastering these 6 habits, you claim agency over how the world experiences you. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." The sequence is deliberate. Clarity of vision first, action second. Respect begins internally, in self-discipline, and self-mastery radiates outward. Practical Stoic techniques to integrate these habits. 1. Daily reflection. Spend 5 to 10 minutes assessing your actions. Did you gossip? Were you late? Did you take responsibility for your mistakes? Honest reflection highlights areas for improvement. 2. Micro-habits break down larger goals into manageable daily actions. Show up on time once. Maintain hygiene consistently. Address one passive-aggressive tendency. Small victories reinforce progress. 3. Visualization. Mentally rehearse ideal responses. Imagine responding to frustration calmly instead of complaining, speaking directly instead of hinting, solving problems instead of venting. 4. Stoic journaling. Track behavior patterns, write down lessons, and plan corrective action. Journaling reinforces awareness and accountability. 5. Delayed reaction. Pause before speaking or acting. A single breath of reflection prevents gossip, complaint, or passive aggression. Aligning your actions with Stoic principles. Integrating the 6 habits. A real-life scenario: imagine a high-performing professional named Alex. Alex begins the day with intentional hygiene and dressing sharply, projecting self-respect. At work, Alex refrains from gossiping, instead engaging in meaningful conversations and uplifting colleagues. When challenges arise, Alex communicates directly, avoiding passive-aggressive hints or sarcasm. Mistakes are owned openly, lessons learned and applied immediately. Instead of complaining about workload or co-workers, Alex identifies solutions and acts. Meetings, projects, and commitments are always punctual, demonstrating discipline and reliability. The result: colleagues trust Alex, superiors respect Alex, and social relationships thrive. People turn to Alex for advice and leadership. These behaviors do not require charisma or authority. They stem purely from self-mastery, discipline, and intentional living. The long-term payoff: change is not instantaneous, but consistent action compounds over time. The payoff is multidimensional: inner strength. Confidence grows when your actions align with your values. External respect: others notice reliability, integrity, and composure. Consciously or subconsciously, opportunity doors open to career advancement, leadership roles, and meaningful relationships. Emotional freedom: reduced stress from unnecessary conflict, drama, or reactive behavior. Stoic philosophy frames this as a journey, not a destination. Respect and mastery are cultivated daily, through repeated, conscious choices. Every small improvement builds momentum toward becoming the person you aspire to be. Call to action for the viewer: ask yourself, which of these 6 habits holds me back? Which one will I tackle first? Awareness without action is meaningless. Reflection must lead to deliberate change. Commit to one habit today. Stop gossiping. Speak directly. Own a mistake. Maintain hygiene. Solve one problem instead of complaining. Arrive on time. Build momentum by stacking microhabits over days, weeks, and months. Reflect nightly on progress. Celebrate victories. Note setbacks. Adjust strategy. Remember, respect is not a gift, nor is it inherited. It is earned, silently and steadily, through deliberate choices that align actions with values.